Hello again, my friends. I am back for my end of the month what I inked video. I keep my little ink and pen log and traveler's notebook. This time I'm using this beautiful Chic Sparrow traveler's notebook that was gifted to me by the same anonymous benefactor. It has it says down here, a cicada shell. It sang itself utterly away. I think that's a really beautiful quote. And she gifted this to me, and it is an A5, and I've been using it in place of my Colonel Brandon, and it's holding my pen and ink log and another notebook. And once I'm done with my current journal, I'm moving back into an A5, and so then it will be holding my journal too. So here is my ink recorder, which you guys have seen on many videos. It is just a Goulet Tomo River paper notebook that I've had since November of 2020. And this is where we are at for the month of June. You will see that, previous months, I use a lot of my pens. I won't sometimes use all of my pens, but this month, for the month of June, I've actually been dealing with some depression, so you would think that that would, encourage me to write more in my journal, but I actually haven't been writing as much, not because I don't want to write, just because the act of writing and thinking about what to write is sometimes it just feels overwhelming to me when I'm in this state of mind. So I don't have very many pens that I've used, but I'm going to show them to you anyway in the order that I've used them. And let's get right to it. First, I wanted to show you my little ivy plant right there. When I first planted this, I actually propagated it from another ivy plant from a person that I knew, and it only had just the one little ivy leaf on it. But now it's got all this, and I'm so pleased, and it's just so pretty, so I wanted to introduce you to ivy. Yeah. Okay. Weird derailment right there. But here we go. So I'm going to move this off to the side and bring in my pens. So the first pen I used this month was my Cabeco Sport and Macchiato, and I used Robert Oster Hippo Purple, which is a really pretty match for it. I have a fine nib on here, fine steel nib, and this is definitely a pen that I use quite often. My next pen was my Wingsung 699 in amber with a fine nib, and I used KWZ Discovery Green in it. You can see that it's still it's inked. It's because it comes back again later in this video. It has the steel dual-toned nib, and it's a really good writer. I'm really pleased with this pen. Next, I used my Lamy Safari in Savannah. It's actually still in the wash cup. I need to wash them out. I haven't done that yet. So I have this in the fine steel nib, and it's a pen that I usually use every month as well. Oh, and I used Sailor Ink Studio 967 in this. The next pen I used was my Wingsong 3003 in blue. This is a Pilot Pereira dupe, but it has a really smooth nib, and I really enjoy using it. It came in a set of 5 on Amazon, and so I kept the blue one and the gray one, and I actually gifted or gave away the other colors. just because it was inexpensive. They were inexpensive to purchase, and they're kind of like a good little gift for a new fountain pen user or someone who's curious. So sometimes I like to keep inexpensive fountain pens around so that I can gift them to people, kind of get them started in the fountain pen world. So I had this inked with Jacobin Emerald of Chivor, and it didn't last long because it clogged up my pen. Next one I used was my Twisty Swipe in Prussian Blue. This was a gift from my generous benefactor. It has a fine nib on it, and other than the clip, which is, you know, as many other Twisty Swipe users will tell you, is completely useless, it's a good writer. I enjoy this pen, and I used Birmingham Pen Company's Waterfront Dusk. I'm sorry I don't have the ink cards to show you. This is a new pen to me. I actually purchased this from Anemoia on June 10th of this month, when she first got them in stock in her store. And she helped me put it on a chain. And every time I leave the house, period, every single time, go to appointments, if we're just running to the store, it doesn't matter, I am wearing my pen. I've worn it close to my skin. I've worn it on the outside of my shirt. It is already developing a beautiful patina. It's just a really, really great pen. I've really enjoyed finally owning one of these. I really wanted one for the longest time and just kind of never pulled the plug. But I'm really enjoying having this pen and wearing it on my person. It's actually brought up conversations with people. I went to a doctor's appointment maybe a week and a half ago, and I was using this. Of course, I have a little lobster clasp here, so I just unclasp the lobster clasp and then put my pen together and use it. And I was using it to fill out the paperwork that I had to fill out for new patient paperwork. And the receptionist saw me using this, and she's like, "What kind of pen is that?" And I told her about it, and I showed her that it was a fountain pen, and she was very interested. She said that she had been watching fountain pen videos and was trying to decide what to use as her gateway into the fountain pen world. And she hadn't really made that jump yet, but she had never seen one using anyone in real life. So I showed her this. I let her write with it, advocated, what a great pen it is and how practical. You can even put it on a chain, which is good if you work in an office or something, or if you just want a pen to go with you out and about. I really like wearing this. I usually bring my fountain pens out with me, in a little case, but sometimes I just need to grab, a pen really quickly, just to, fill out some paperwork or sign something. And I've really enjoyed having this Traveler's Company pen, like, right hanging off of my neck. It's actually become kind of as much of a comfort item to me as having my journal on me. Always has been and always is as well. So this has become a comfort to me very much. So if you are interested in a Traveler's Company pen, I will link Anemoia's small shop. I'll link it for you below, and maybe you can support a smaller business rather than Goulet and Anderson and Van Ness. These are all great companies, but maybe you'd like to support a smaller business. So I'll link her shop below where you can get one of these. Yeah, really enjoy it. Oh, and it's just got a regular, actually I think it's a Diamine Oxford Blue cartridge in it, and it was just one I had lying around. It takes a standard international regular cartridge. Next pen I used was my Pilot Capless in deep yellow. I really enjoy writing with this pen. I enjoy the the clicker. In fact, every time I write with this pen and I'm writing at home or whatnot, my mother-in-law is always very interested. I've let her write with it a few times, and she thinks it's really nice. I even told her, I was like, I can buy you one. And she's like, no, I'll lose it. She's a phlebotomist, and she works at a specific clinic where you just go to get blood drawn. She's afraid she would lose it, or somebody would take it from her. So I got her a really nice blue Inkjoy gel pen for her to keep at work, which she promptly put the sticker on it with her name, and she uses it at work. Maybe one day. Actually, my brother-in-law is very into vintage and analog, but he hasn't made that step into fountain pens yet, so I'm thinking about gifting him a pen for this Christmas. Just gotta figure out what I would like to give him. So I used Rome Burning with this one, and it's actually one of my favorite inks to use in this pen. The next pen I inked up was my vintage Schaefer No Nonsense in red, and it has a, hold on, has an italic fine nib on it, and I like writing with this. It kind of makes me feel all, it just makes me feel like some special way when I write with this pen. I don't write with it very often, but it does make me feel very, very some sort of way when I write with this pen. And I used Birmingham Pen Company's Heron in here. My next pen was my Pilot Custom 823, and I say next pen, but it's actually been inked up the whole time. I just keep inking it up with different inks and then putting it back in my rotation. So it's been inked up ever since I got it in May. It has not had or seen a day where it hasn't had ink in it. So I did originally, like the ink before this one I put in here was Diatramentus Jane Austen, but I found that Diatramentus, that Jane Austen was such a very wet ink, and this is a medium nib, that it came out way too wet of a line for my liking. So I emptied it out, of course saved the ink, and then I inked it up again with the same ink that I used, one of the same inks I used last month, one of the same, and that is Ferris Wheel Pressed Peter Moss. And so I've been enjoying using this pen. When I put it in it's in my currently inked, or on my little currently inked thing from Galen, sorry about that. So whenever and I go in line, so I'll do 2 pages of this pen, 2 pages of this pen, 2 pages of this pen, 2 pages of this pen. And so I always get very happy and excited when it comes up. It's in this spot right now, but when it comes up on my little rotation, my pens that are currently inked, I get very happy. Really, really, really love everything there is to love about this pen. It has been an absolute joy to write with since the moment I got it. It has been currently inked the entire time, and I cannot foresee a time in the future where I will not have this pen inked. On to the next pen, which I did ink up again, was after I finished my previous fill. I inked up again my Wingsong 699 with the exact same ink that I used before, which was KWZ Discovery Green. I really like using Discovery Green in this pen. I just really like Discovery Green. It's probably, out of all my inks, it's probably my favorite ink to use. I only have a couple pens that I like to use it in, but I use it several times a month, which actually, probably means it's my favorite ink. But yep, so that one was the next one that came up in my rotation. Next was my Goguen X750 in cream, and I really like this pen. It's got a medium nib on it. It's such a substantial pen. It doesn't feel like a $10 pen should feel. This feels as substantial as some of my more expensive pens. So it has a nice medium nib on it, and I currently this is currently inked. I have it filled with Colorverse Hayabusa, which is a really beautiful purple. The next pen is actually a pen that is still inked right now. It's my currently inked. Actually, these 4 pens right now are my pens that are currently inked. My 823, 699, Goguen X750, and my Cabeco Student. So all these are currently living on my little Galen leather pen board right here. So the last pen I have to show you is my Cabeco Student in Vintage Blue, which I look on YouTube, and I like when I'm using a certain pen, sometimes I'll go on YouTube and I just want to see videos of other people reviewing and using that same pen. Not always necessarily, you know, just the type of pen, but I want to look for the color too. And there are only a handful of videos where people have reviewed or are showing being used the vintage blue color of the Cabeco Student, which is so sad because it's such a beautiful color. It makes me very happy to write with. It has a fine nib on it, a fine steel nib. And I currently have this inked with Pilot Oroshizuku Shinryoku. And I really enjoy writing with this pen. This was another pen that was gifted to me by the amazing lady that I have spoken about before. And yeah, there has not been a month yet where I haven't written with almost every single pen that she gifted me. I've been really, really enjoying all of the pens that she gifted me. She also gifted me some journals and notebooks. I am almost finished with the first notebook that she gifted me, which was a Wonderland 222 in the A6 size. And I'm almost done with that. And as soon as I am, I will do a flip for you. And I am going to be just fine in journals and notebooks for quite some time because of this wonderful woman. So yeah, so that is my list of pens that I used this month. It's a very small. I'm not used to only using just so few pens. Usually I have used just about my entire pen collection. Yeah, I'm hoping that I can pull out of this funk that I've been in and get back to what I love to do, which is just writing and documenting and exploring what's in my mind by putting it down on paper. And yeah, I'm hoping that this funk isn't here to stay, because I miss using all my pens. I feel like I'm not using them well if I don't use them all. But that's just me. That's just a weird me-ism. So I just want to thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for supporting my channel in all the ways that you do, by watching my videos, watching the ads. Those of you who reach out and leave comments, I want to thank you so much because I respond to each one of them. Those of you who have supported me on Ko-Fi, I want to thank you so much as well. Your support on Ko-Fi means so much to me because it's through the channel money and the Ko-Fi money that I'm able to get new things for the channel. That's the only money that I use for acquiring new things for my hobby and for the channel and for videos. So I just want to thank you guys so much for all of your very generous donations on Ko-Fi, and then just for watching my videos. You guys are the best. Thank you, and I wish you nothing but awesomeness and greatness for the coming month, and I hope you have a wonderful Independence Day. Bye-bye.